Awesome. Thank you so much to Erica and Aaron and Seth and Namita. That was an awesome session. And a nice way to segue for us into the next session, which is about the second Big Data Cup. And so we are going to have a couple of speakers from Stathletes come and talk about the data that we have released. I think it's officially released and out there, and they'll talk about how you can get it. But I will start by introducing Brendan Kumagai, is a data science intern at Stathletes and a master's in statistics student at Simon Fraser University, where he's currently doing research on applications of statistics in sports. He was part of the winning team in last year's inaugural Big Data Cup and is currently in the finals of the 2022 NFL Big Data Bowl. Joining Brendan will be Pascale Walters, and she is a computer vision engineer at Stathletes, researching ways to use computer vision techniques to advance hockey analytics. She has an MASC in systems design engineering and a BASC in biomedical engineering, both from the University of Waterloo. And I think Brendan is going to start, and then Pascale is going to follow. So I will turn it over to you.
All right, awesome. Thanks, Michael. So as Michael mentioned, we're here today to introduce the data available for the 2022 Stathletes Big Data Cup. And also, like he mentioned, in last year's inaugural competition, I was fortunate enough to have worked with some very talented people and be part of the winning team here with Tyrell Stokes, Mikhail Nahabidian, and Thibaut Chatel. And I can say firsthand that this competition was an excellent springboard for me to advance my career through the new knowledge and opportunities that I've gained as a result of it. And I'm excited to see if anyone could potentially have the same kind of impact to their career through their work through this competition as well. And with that, let's get on to the data. So this year's competition will include two different types of women's international hockey data sets. The first being a sample of the Stathletes play-by-play data, which I will elaborate on a bit more in a minute. And the second, which we're very excited about, is a set of broadcast feed player tracking data, which Pascale will dive into. And the overall topic for this year's competition is going to be special teams. So that includes both power plays and penalty kills. So for the play-by-play data, we're going to be providing a sample of the data available at Stathletes for the 2018 and 2022 Women's Winter Olympic tournaments. And for those of you who did compete in last year's Big Data Cup, this data set's pretty much going to be in the exact same format. So this is going to include events that you see in typical play-by-play data, like you have in the NHL with, shots, goals, and face-offs and their locations. But we're also going to extend that to include different things that we don't really see in normal play-by-play data, like passes, dump-ins, zone entries, puck recoveries, and takeaways, as well as a bunch of different contextual information for each of these events. And to provide an example of this, let's take a look at a play-by-play breakdown of rush chance by Natalie Spooner and Sarah Nurse here. So we have what actually happens on the ice on the left, and we have a snapshot of the data here on the right. And basically you can see here that we have a zone entry by Sarah Nurse. And after that zone entry, she passes to Natalie Spooner, who then passes it back to her. So that's represented by the purple for the zone entry and the two green dots for the two passes. Then once Spooner makes that second pass back to Nurse, you can see that Nurse takes a shot there as represented by the blue dot. Then that shot is recovered by Megan Keller, the US defenseman, as shown by the red dot there. And basically our data looks like this data table that we have on the right here, where we have one row per event. And here we have a bunch of contextual information and information about the game as well, which I left out here just to keep things digestible. But there's going to be additional documentation in the GitHub repository, which you'll receive a link for once you register for the competition. And with that, I'll pass it over to Pascale to talk about the tracking data.
Sure. Thanks, Brendan. So at Stathletes, we've been looking into ways to apply computer vision techniques to hockey video. And one of our research areas has been looking into player tracking. We're really excited to release some of our tracking data for women's hockey. So the data files we've been provided contain player and goalie locations on the ice for power plays. We've extracted these data from broadcast footage of 6 Olympic women's games. In total, we have 34 power plays, which are defined as any situation that is not even strength. So here we'll show a quick sample of an input video and then the output tracking data. So you'll get access to the X and Y coordinates, which are shown on the right-hand side of the screen here. So in this slide, we'll go into a bit more technical details. We extract our tracking data from the broadcast camera, which pans and zooms. This means that there are moments where not all players are in the camera's field of view. So at these times, the players' positions are not given in the data feed. And furthermore, we extract our tracking data at 30 frames per second video. This just shows a little snippet of one of the data files with a row for each player and frame in the video, and then their position and team as well. So once you get access to the data set, we have our play-by-play data and then our tracking data, and there's a lot more documentation in the GitHub repo once you get over there. So we have play-by-play for many games and then tracking for a smaller subset of those games. So then that's a bit into the data. So we'll talk a little bit about the competition. There will be two categories for participants, high school and undergraduate, where you must provide proof of enrollment at high school or undergraduate level, and then an open category, which includes graduate students and anyone else interested in hockey research who is not a student. Teams can be 1 to 4 participants, and finalists will be selected on the week of May 30th, and they will have the opportunity to present their findings to our panel of NHL executives. Prizes will be awarded to top qualifiers. And some evaluation criteria includes, but is not limited to, a demonstrated ability to creating actionable insights for a general manager or head coach working in hockey, and not just research, generating creative ideas, which may mean borrowing and applying ideas from other sports, leveraging domain knowledge, and or filling gaps created by limitations of public data. This information is on the competition website, so feel free to browse it at your own time. Okay, so how to get the data. So we ask that all of you register at www.stathletes.com/bigdatacup. On that page, there's a button to register where we just need your email and your affiliation. And then on that page, there are links to the GitHub repo, which has all of the data files in it. Here's a little bit of a competition timeline. We'll be holding open office hours where you can ask any questions you may have about the data or the competition itself in April and May. The submissions are due at midnight on May 15th. You need to email them to the email that is listed on the competition website. I think it's bigdatacup@stathletes.com. We'll announce the finalists the week of May 30th. And then you'll present your research. Those finalists will present their research and that on the weekend of June 11th, and then the winners in each category will be announced. The prizes total up to 10,000 Canadian dollars, and we also have some swag from NHL and NHL teams. And lastly, we'd like to thank our sponsors, Stathletes, TD Management and Data Analytics Lab at the University of Toronto, Canadian Statistical Sciences Institute, Ottawa Senators, the NHL, and many more. Yeah, so that's all I have for now. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them. We'll be speaking to you again tomorrow morning, where Brendan will give a little demo.